There we go. Okay, Edna, welcome to the Healthy Schools Revolution. This morning we have Edna Chirico. She is a managing partner of Green Teacher Network, and I think you guys are going to love what Edna has been doing in the schools. And I'm going to defer to Edna because she's going to be able to tell her history better than I would know all the things that she's done. But Edna, tell us how you what was your journey in getting to the Green Teacher Network and starting these programs in schools?
Oh, it was a fascinating journey. I actually come from the commercial real estate arena with a focus on site selection and sustainable development principles. So when a team of environmentalists and developers got together to start trying to figure out how to develop a platform for a sustainable community, education is what came to the top. And the best platform from research that we did around the country to attain sustainable community was through supporting STEM skills and schoolyard gardens. So we started with 11 schools in Northwest Charlotte, all of them categorized as Title I schools, and supported their schoolyard gardening program, especially emphasizing those STEM skills, science, technology, engineering, and math. And from those 11 schools, we now have 120 schools connected to a collaboration of 25 organizations, and that's growing every month, in support of schoolyard gardens. To advance academics, to connect children with their natural environment, and to improve their health.
Edna, that's a lot for someone to absorb. If you imagine that the vast majority of people perhaps might be moms and dads that are joining this to say, you know, I want to start something healthy for my kids and I don't even know where to start. You guys have a massive program with legs under it. Curriculum, is that correct? You guys now have some curriculums that you've developed in partnership with other institutions?
The Green Teacher Network does three things. We host professional development workshops to teach teachers and informal educators, which are parents and volunteers, how to take students outside and engage them in schoolyard gardening and their natural environment. We've put over 300 teachers through our workshops so far in the last year. We also have recently established a partnership with UNC Charlotte Center for STEM Education and Microsoft to develop a curriculum connection matrix so that anybody who wants to get involved in gardening but wants it on an education platform can come to this matrix and search by grade or subject and get project ideas along with everything from assessments to video instructions that connects with essential standards at the state level. So we're really helping teachers connect the gardening projects to the required curriculum in the classroom.
And so, Edna, do teachers need to first join the Green Teacher Network in order to have access to that curriculum, correct?
Yes, they need to just sign up with us on our website. They will receive a monthly email newsletter and invitations to our quarterly workshops. And then as the matrix builds, they'll also be given access and ideas on not only how to start from growing seeds in their classroom, but also how to identify resources and ways to take those gardening experiences outside. And we have schools that are gardening from a little container outside the school window to big aquaponics projects that connect closed water systems with fish farming and hydroponic gardening. So the full gamut. And it crosses all subjects. You can connect with music, art, literature, and science and math through schoolyard gardens.
So how do you connect music with schoolyard gardens?
You'd be surprised at all of the opportunities to relax and enjoy the rhythm of what's happening in your natural environment. Okay. One of our lead gardeners from one of our middle schools is actually the music teacher. And she helps encourage the science and math and the literacy people to engage in gardening with her on a music platform.
Oh, that is awesome. And so, first of all, we need to direct people how to get to your site, right? Because I'm sure teachers and parents right now are absorbing what you're saying, and they're very excited, and they want to gain access to all the hard work that you guys have laid out to be able to start these sort of things in their school. So what is the web address you would like them to go to?
It's www.gtncharlotte.com.
And there are other Green Teacher networks around the country, correct?
Well, what's very interesting is I think there are other collaborations around schoolyard gardening, and each of our resource partners, from Master Gardens to Cooperative Extensions, have gardening initiatives. But most often, they're not in a Green Teacher Network collaboration. They're individual initiatives that are operating individually. We are trying to connect with groups, and we really would love to know who those groups are. And we know that there are groups in Chicago and in Washington, D.C., and in the Berkeley, California area. But there really is not a national network of schoolyard gardening experts. And we hope that that'll be a collaborative, long-term goal as Green Teacher Network moves forward, to partner with other organizations and achieve that national connection.
Well, hopefully that's one thing that will come of you all being a part of the Healthy Schools Revolution. You're being broadcast all across America, and actually it's pretty exciting. I started a list on my desk of the other countries that are now participating. We have people from Hong Kong, the Bahamas, Portugal, Puerto Rico, Cairo, Egypt. So this is not only a national United States effort. People around the globe are watching and learning to find out what they can do better in their schools. So I hope that this will bring attention to what you're doing and have other people step up and approach you and say, hey, let's form a larger organization and let's, bring all the little pieces of the puzzles together. So how about tell us some snippets about, like, give us a day in the life of being in the Green Teacher Network. What happens at the school level?
Well, at the school level, each school kind of develops its schoolyard gardening program as a unique collaboration itself. So we have certain schools where they have a science tutor who acts as the schoolyard garden coordinator, and she guides the connection to curriculum and the activities with every teacher involved in that school. So she may have 8 or 10 raised bed gardens, a composting bin, rain barrels set up, and a seasonal planting guide to help the teachers know what to plant when and how to connect it with math and science and literacy and art and health. Other schools aren't as fortunate to have that garden coordinator, so they connect with us, invite us out, or invite many of our 25 different partners out to have workshops with those teachers, look at their campus, and help them identify resources and how to build their garden. Our collaboration has wonderful people who will help provide schoolyard garden construction for the cost of the lumber. We have resources to deliver soils. So just knowing who all of those resources are is a big value that the Green Teacher Network brings to the teachers. And if you think about it, we've gone about 3 generations with processed food. So we are so disconnected to our food system that this is a big adventure for a lot of the students. When we do our assessments, especially in Title I or economically disadvantaged schools, you will find that over 90% of those students think that tomatoes magically appear in the grocery stores and have no idea that they're growing on vines. So these students are entering a new world of exploration through schoolyard gardens, and they're finding it fascinating. When they plant a seed and they see that broccoli plant blossom, they're just taken aback. They can't imagine that that is something they actually have been eating or have the opportunity to learn how to prepare. So we've taken this food ecosystem and connected with wonderful resources like Johnson & Wales chefs who give us guidelines for very simple recipes so the students can take what they've grown and prepare simple recipes right there in the schoolyard garden or in their classroom and taste and experience fruits and vegetables and try to get that incorporated into their diet, which connects back to the health and wellness initiative that's part of the goal of the Green Teacher Network. So it's fun. So the day just depends on where you start and where you end up, the scope of what you're going to be experiencing, and how these creative students can connect them with all different aspects of their community, because we have a lot of churches involved, community gardeners involved, or whether they want to go on a water cycle understanding and do the rain barrel thing and analyze things with their microscopes outside, their magnifying glasses outside, all of it giving them the opportunity to relax and enjoy their natural environment.
Well, so I'm coming at you from a perspective of you would think, okay, Carmen needs to know everything about Green Teacher Network, but I can't. And so that's why I'm going to ask some simple questions.
Sure.
One, is there a fee to join the Green Teacher Network?
No. Currently, we are funded through grants and corporate sponsorships. We're always looking for funding, but no, we want everyone to connect free of charge.
Awesome. So that's, that's usually one of the entries, the barriers to entry is people say, oh, well, I don't have the money. And teachers we know don't get paid enough. So any school administrators that are listening, I'm rallying for teachers to be paid a lot more money. They are so important. So first of all, Edna's program, the Green Teacher Network, is free for teachers to join. And then I like what you said. I heard one snippet about you guys help these schools I guess, approach grants and help them learn how to write grants for funding to buy rain barrels, for funding to get other necessary items to build their first school garden. Is that correct?
Yes, we have a lot of teachers who just don't know the plethora of resources out there. So we serve as a single source for resources and information for our region for schools involved in schoolyard gardening. So within our monthly newsletter, you'll get reminders that the North Carolina Farm Bureau is in their grant cycle, or Captain Planet has just released their grant cycle, so that they have one place where they can go and connect to these resources. We also give them ideas about which corporate partners are available to bring people out to act as career models or to give them hands-on demonstrations of how things work. Teachers are so inundated on a day-to-day basis with all their requirements, they just don't have the opportunity to, or the time to research these available resources. So we want to make that simple and very impactful for the teachers involved.
That's almost like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, Edna. It's like every teacher's dream is to have like this resource. That's what they need the most, are resources. What's the curriculum you guys have already designed? How do we get funding? How do we get started? And if you guys can hold their hand through that whole process, then schoolyard gardens as an integrative model of the whole school are going to eventually become the norm, not the exception, but they will become the rule. Is, I think, all of our hope, all of us that are here in the Healthy Schools Revolution want to see our children connect with their food source. And so in that vein, can you sort of speak to the successes your program in the schools have seen as far as either the health of the children, their ability to taste and test new foods, their academic performance, possibly their behavior in class? Do y'all have some statistical data around how your programs are actually impacting the student body?
We are doing regular surveys, and we are just a year old, so we're at the point of really looking at how we can define and accumulate metrics over time. We have grown from 35 schools actively gardening to 120. Of those, 90 of them are our local Charlotte-Mecklenburg school system. We have a large number of economically disadvantaged students, and what we're finding over time is those economically disadvantaged students, the ones that are hit the hardest with those epidemics of academic achievement gap, childhood obesity, and nature deficit disorder, are using schoolyard gardens as a platform to STEM skills. So after those schools have been gardening for a year or two, they are now engaging in science competitions, more science experiments, they're understanding technology better. We are hearing a lot of positive results from teachers as well. Classroom teachers are saying, it is amazing. I take my class outside for half an hour, and they are calm and attentive and retaining everything else that I teach them for the rest of the day. We're also getting surveys of students trying and liking foods that they've never seen before, surveys that they prefer sweet potatoes raw over cooked with sugar and milk and things added like that. So the experiences are very unique, and over the next year or two you're going to see some of the collective accomplishments of the Green Teacher Network as a whole. We have strategic partnerships with the school systems, but we also invite public schools, private schools, and homeschoolers to join with us. We also have a strategic partnership with our local health department. It's hard to maintain collaborations because everyone is so busy, especially within the school system as large as Charlotte-Mecklenburg, where you have the science teachers have a tendency to work with the science teachers, math teachers with math teachers. Gardening is an opportunity to really focus on those goals of Common Core, where all the teachers of all the subjects can come together and really look at the needs of the whole child, balance them academic, and balance them from a health standpoint.
Edna, I just got goosebumps when you said that. That thought really never occurred to me, the fact that the garden could integrate every discipline in the school, and that is the common ground, not to use a pun there, but that's the common ground to bring everyone together and have conversations start to cross over. And then, of course, the successes you're having with these children that are so at risk of really poor health because of the quality of foods that they choose to eat and often are limited in access to any good food at all. That sort of begs the question of, have you all had trouble with giving the children the food out of your garden? Are there any food policy restrictions from the schools that are sort of handcuffing you? And if so, how have you overcome those?
We have a fabulous partnership with the Director of Nutrition for the large school system, Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools. She serves 90,000 meals a day. I can't imagine that. And she has a lot of federal restrictions. So right now in the state of North Carolina, we are not allowed to use the food grown in the schoolyard gardens in the school cafeteria. However, they've embraced and supported us by allowing schoolyard garden tastings, either in the garden or in the classroom, and those are welcomed and encouraged. We even have a lot of curriculum connections with the cafeteria, so at certain times of year when we're growing things like sweet potatoes, or in the spring when we're growing radishes and mixed greens, they will actually serve those things in the cafeteria and highlight the education connection. So we're seeing a lot of students increase the variety of fruits and vegetables they eat. And we're working through all of the legislative issues because we know the federal government is there to try to help keep everyone safe. But we also know that sometimes the layers of bureaucracy need to be peeled back so that we can get some common sense approaches to providing quality food for these, especially these at-risk students. We're also finding that the Schoolyard Gardens encourages parents to get more involved in gardening, and if you're talking about food deserts, that's a very effective way to address the food desert challenge. There's nothing more affordable than growing the food that you eat in your own backyard or in your schoolyard garden. So if there's extra food, we welcome parents to take it home, again with the recipes to show them how to prepare the food that's been grown in the schoolyard garden.
So do your children, at the end of, say, a week, if there's excess produce that you all have not used, do the students have an initiative where they bag it up with these little recipes, and that's like a function of what they're doing in the garden, making these go-home bags?
Some schools are already working on that project right now, and a lot of partnerships are thinking about how to make that more effective. We have one of the departments within Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools who's doing it as part of a health initiative, preparing foods for families in a backpack situation. And our child nutrition people are actually finding resources to provide meals at the schools throughout the entire summer, which happened this past summer. So there are a lot of creative options and opportunities to get more of that healthy food back to the families that need them. But it's not just the families that are classified as economically disadvantaged. We've got a childhood obesity issue regardless of your economic status. So this food awareness connected to health and academics is one way of really helping students understand why they need to make healthy food choices, how that's going to help how they look, how they feel, and how they're going to perform in their school environment.
So as a mom, I'm sitting here going, okay, I would like a garden at my kid's school that sounds like what you all have. And so my thinker brain is going, wait a minute, monetarily, you do have the resources to help me figure out how to write a grant. But how cumbersome is that, and how effective is that process if I want to start a garden next year? Are we in a current grant cycle right now, and can I get the money this year to possibly fund the garden next year? I mean, I'm wondering how quick of a turnaround is this? I'm excited right now, and I want something to happen. So give us a time frame of how long someone should anticipate it taking to get an initiative started.
Well, the first step is to make sure you have the blessing from the principal of the school, which is usually easy to come by because now you have a lot of other schools to use as an example. and then you form a team at your school. Now, the resources, depending on where your school is, if you've got a PTA, you can start a garden very successfully with a garden team and $500. $500 would get you at least one, if not three, raised bed gardens, the soil, the seeds, everything you need to start your garden experience. And gardening, especially in North Carolina, is something you can do year-round. There's no reason not to garden in the spring, in the fall, and in the winter. And there are very creative ways of doing hoop houses and things like that to even garden in January and February. But also classroom gardening is a good way. We caution everyone to be very slow and intentional. Don't go out there and till up the entire school campus, because that's not sustainable. Start with a small group of dedicated teachers and parents and volunteers. Become a B-plus gardener and really engage the people who have the passion first. And then it becomes contagious, and it will grow slowly over time to where your entire school will want to be involved because of the success you'll achieve. So it's very economical, and you can go and visit a number of your corporate partners. Oftentimes they will donate those boxes or the supplies, or the parents have carpentry skills. They can come and make them right outside your school campus. If you're in Mecklenburg County, you can coordinate with us, the Green Teacher Network, and we help you through the different levels of regulation within the school systems. Sometimes different school systems have different rules about who you need to get approvals for, but it always starts with the principal and a small team of impassioned, want-to-be gardeners. They don't have to have any skill level. We can help them with the skills and the resources and the curriculum connections.
Okay, so since we're taking baby steps, does Green Teacher Network have maybe a document that says, here are your first steps, sort of what you just laid out? Contact your principal, form a small group with the PTA. Do you all have a little handout like that already with your Green Teacher Network?
We do, but what we encourage is that everyone first attend one of our workshops, because the workshop is where you're going to meet the network, get the ideas, and be shown examples of how you engage students in schoolyard gardening. So they have 3 breakout sessions at each of our workshops, but the workshops have up to 100 teachers there each quarter, so you're going to get a lot of exposure to best practices. So learn the technique that's going to work best for you through exposure, and have resources of other teachers that you can email or call immediately to take those steps necessary to achieve what your goals are. We're not handing out, this is the exact process every school needs to go through, because like every garden is unique, every school is unique, and they will have unique geography. They'll have areas that'll be better for vertical gardening than long, flat areas with lots of sun for horizontal gardening. So you're designing a very unique garden based on your needs in your school.
Okay, I love it, and I think that you know, I may put you on the spot here, but when we first got on the call, I was asking you, how can this participating in this event help the Green Teacher Network? And you had said that, if I am quoting you correctly, to connect with other organizations that are already working in the schools in the same capacity you are. Is that what you would like to have happen?
Yes, and we certainly want to share our model with other geographic regions. We would love to see this type of collaboration be popping up all over the country. We feel that it probably is in certain areas, but there's just not a platform to connect all the initiatives so we can share what we've learned as a best practice with other collaborative organizations.
Okay, and since travel could be a problem, like you said, we'd love for you to come to one of our quarterly meetings. Say if I live in Wisconsin, but I really want to know what you guys are doing so I can take what you guys have learned and modify it based on my regional requirements, my school system policies. I'm trying to figure out what's going to be a good way for someone to connect with you that way. Just reach out to your organization and start a conversation.
Certainly they can reach out to me personally or to our organization to start that conversation. We are encouraged by a couple things that are happening nationally. One is a Green Schools National Network that is having, I believe it's coming up in March in Virginia Beach. A number of the wonderful leaders in schoolyard gardening are attending that conference, so that might be an opportunity for us to get together. I'm actually on a conversation with them in another week. So if that happens, maybe we can get it out to the network that you're already establishing with the Healthy School Revolution as well.
Can you say that one more time, Edna? Because I think the broadcast stopped for just a moment.
Oh, certainly.
So the Green School National event, and you started to say where it was going to be, and that's when I lost connectivity.
The Green Schools National Network,
Okay.
it has an annual conference, and it's up in Virginia Beach in the spring.
Okay.
And I was fortunate enough to attend the last conference in Sacramento last April, and I was able to meet a lot of the wonderful people you have on some of your panels today, in this coming event, the Stephen Ritzes of the world, and that might be a venue that I would recommend to a number of other regional organizations where we can get together and collaborate, in addition to participating in the Healthy Schools Revolution, which I think is wonderful.
Oh, well, thank you. And I'm trying to brainstorm and connect the dots, so I can envision, another person like yourself that's listening to this call. They might not be one of our experts being featured, but they may have a similar program going on in their area. And I just love the fact that you're so willing to collaborate with others, and you all share best practices and help each other modify your programs. But that makes me want to go back quickly to one more thing that you mentioned was the efforts with UNC Charlotte and Microsoft. You putting together the curriculum. Can you speak a little bit more about that?
You know, what was interesting is over a year of Green Teacher Network professional development workshops, reviewing surveys from teachers, one of their primary requests was connecting schoolyard garden projects with curriculum, specific essential standards. And we contacted Microsoft because they have a large regional office here in Charlotte and asked them for their thoughts. And they immediately embraced the idea of helping us develop this curriculum connection matrix, which is just now being put together. We believe that this matrix is something we'd love to share with others nationally, because there is really not that much difference between the essential standard requirements of each of the public schools across the country. Now, there is a little bit of difference in growing seasons and in the time of year and what you can grow where, but that can certainly be accommodated. So we're inviting others, regional organizations, to participate with us as we grow this curriculum connection matrix. You're talking about international exposure. When we were allowed access to the Microsoft Education Provider Directory, which goes to 80 different countries, it's an amazing resource. But we did a search within that directory of schoolyard gardens, and we didn't return any results from that search. So we're going to be helping Microsoft build that component of their education providers directory, and we need lots of partners to make that as robust as possible.
Well, this has been a series of goosebumps, Edna. I mean, my legs are covered in goosebumps. My arms, that's on such a grand scale, and the ability, you're working so hard to have a universal impact across the globe. So thank you so much for what you're doing with that. I think that's a great resource, but I'm wondering, I want to know, when's it going to be ready? When's it going to be out? How are people going to find out about it? How can the Healthy Schools Revolution help you get that announcement out to everyone? When it's ready, we'll be happy to announce and send links so that people can come and join.
We're hoping to be able to answer those questions come spring. So let's use that as a teaser for your spring revolution. Okay?
Awesome. So I hope that you'll be able to divulge everything at that point. So hopefully, I think today we've given people a lot of things to think about. You have the great resource. So again, Edna's web address is www. So the acronym Green Teacher Network. So gtncharlotte.org. Correct?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So you all please go there, check out Edna's resources, give her your feedback, make sure there's lots of connectivity and conversation going on. And Edna, is there anything parting that you'd like to say or share with our audience?
Just get out there, get your hands dirty. There's a serotonin in that soil that helps relax you and inspire you. And think about how to be creative in your gardens. We talk about math and science and technology, but there's also so much history and culture. If you think about an Asian garden, if you think about a Hispanic garden or African American history garden, you do a simple Google search and you'll be amazed at how food has connected us through the generations and how it is such an incredible resource for all of us to be a little more engaged in understanding what we're putting in our mouths. So thank you so much for providing this platform, and we look forward to the connections that it's going to bring us.
Yay! Well, thank you for your time, Edna. I know, everybody's so super busy, and I really value you taking the time to come and share your knowledge with everyone that's participating in the Healthy Schools Revolution. And everybody, that's probably a wrap for today, and I hope you all are learning great stuff about gardening, and stay tuned for the next episode that's coming out tomorrow. Edna, wish you a great day, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great day. Bye.